Lisa O'Connell with Coldwell Banker Mountain Property, and I'm here with the local scoop talking with Peggy Smith, a homeowner that's built 3 homes in the Winter Park and Fraser Valley. Peggy, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I am asking some questions about how have you done this. This is amazing. 3 homes, and the building background that you guys come with is terrific. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I'm married to an architect, and we built several houses in Denver and moved up here 10 years ago, and I've built 3 houses in Grand County. And they've all been different. They've all had their challenges, and it's been a lifelong learning experience and a lot of fun.
So how did you pick your first property? I mean, how do you, when you're going out to kind of find the one that really works for you, how do you find the very first lot?
Well, I think you need to ask yourself the question of what are you really looking for? And location, location, location is really the critical piece. And in an amenity-driven valley like Grand County, you have lots of choices to make. You need to decide, do you want to be near the ski area? Do you need to be near a golf course? Or down in Grand Lake is also a great option. So once you've kind of picked the amenity that you feel is what your family is going to enjoy the most, then you've started to narrow down your search. And you can start asking other questions like, how do you feel about being in a covenant-controlled community? Do you want to be in one that requires design review and is a little more restrictive than, say, some of the older neighborhoods that are a little more flexible? Our feeling has always been that being in a covenant-controlled community, the values will be guaranteed in the long run. So we've chosen that for our homes.
And how do you come up with your floor plan?
Well, the floor plan is really dictated a lot by the topography of the mountain, and we have uphill lots and downhill lots and flat lots occasionally. So that really dictates what kind of a house you're able to build. My husband and I actually prefer the downhill load lots because it gives you the opportunity to have a walkout basement, and then it allows you to be able to be really creative on the main floor with your ceilings and having vaulted ceilings with trusses and all kinds of interesting things that you would not be able to have if you were building on a flat lot and you had to put the bedrooms upstairs.
And views. Tell me how you incorporate views into the plan.
Well, views are very critical as an orientation. Solar orientation is really critical in an environment as harsh as 9,000 feet. So ideally, it'd be great to have a western exposure and limited north exposure. Those are things that you, when siting the house and picking a lot, need to consider.
And if I was looking at putting together a building development team, how do I know who's going to be working with me the best? Is there kind of few questions you need to come up with, or?
Well, the first person you need to select is an architect, and I think that's really the critical piece. You need to find someone who will work with you, understands how your family works. You also need to really go through his homes and see some of the projects that he's built and look with a critical eye. How do you feel about the spaces? Ask him questions on why he chose different materials and what the orientation was, to figure out where the floor plans, do they seem to flow? Are they cut up? Are there a lot of strange angles? Angles tend to make rooms awkward, hard to furnish. You need to also look at the spaces, the volumes. Are they too tall? Do you feel uncomfortable? Are they too narrow? Is there too much circulation? Those are the pieces that I think are critical. And then, you also must check the references. That's really important.
So in building right now, what type of timeline and what can you expect out of a subcontractor? Do you find all your subcontractors, or are your architects going through and hiring your subcontractors?
Well, you would hire a builder, and that is also the key, the next critical component of the team. And the builder would be hiring all the subcontractors. And there again, you need to check references, find out will they have an on-site project manager through the entire process, how long have they been in business, what is their reputation, what other homes have they built. You have to do your homework with it because this is a very expensive investment, and so you really can't go for the cheapest. If you do, you will really be sorry in the long run.
So in your success right now, I will have to say that you've done a beautiful job designing all the elements of this home. It's absolutely lovely. Did you do all the interior design? Did you pick someone to work with? And how did you figure your materials as far as the style of the home?
Well, I have had a background in interior design, so I actually did most of the selections myself. but I do strongly recommend people work with an interior designer. I think it's a very overwhelming process to build a house, and there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. And if you're not familiar with the sources and the materials that are used in the mountains, it will be a very stressful situation. So in order to have fun with this process, I would highly recommend an interior designer.
So with that in mind, would you pick one or two things in this home that you've absolutely enjoyed, and one feature that you feel is the most critical in this home that you would not pass up?
Well, I love my deck. It's covered, it's big, it's like having a second room outside. It's just awesome. I have a fabulous view of the entire Fraser Valley, and I think that is my favorite part of this house.
I can see why. It's a beautiful view, and as we sit right now, you can see over towards the Fraser Valley and enjoy the warmth in the summer. I can hardly imagine a day that you wouldn't want to go out to that deck. And with Denise O'Connell and the Local Scoop, thank you, Peggy Smith. This has been fabulous.
Thank you for having me.